Breaking tonight at 6, 2 bodies found in the rubble of this burned down vacant home in North Toledo have been identified as these 2 missing teens from Toledo. Police say 15-year-old Kyshawn Pittman and 16-year-old Kamarian Wilder were murdered, and now multiple people have been arrested and charged in connection to the case. One of them now charged with murder. The WTOL 11 team has been working around the clock, putting all of these pieces together, and our team coverage continues tonight. Michael Sandlin has more on the suspects charged in the case. Trent Croce went back into the neighborhood and talked to people where those bodies were found. Michael, I'll start with you. The suspected killer appeared in court this morning?
That's right, Melissa. Cruz Garcia was already arraigned this morning after being charged with kidnapping the 2 teens, with court documents claiming he was seen hitting them with a pistol, tying them up, and walking them to an awaiting vehicle. Now, court documents released just hours ago claim Garcia was seen entering and leaving the abandoned home in the days before the fire. At this time, it is unknown how he allegedly killed the teens before they were found inside the burned-down home on Chase Street, which caught fire on the 5th. Toledo fire leaders tell us it's still unclear if the blaze was caused by arson, but last night, Toledo Police's Lieutenant Gherkin said it was likely. And 4 other suspects have been charged with obstruction of justice as well at various times this week, including Diamond Rivera, a friend of Garcia's, and Carissa Ames, Crystal LaForge Yingling, and Corbin Gingrich, all of whom Wilder's sister has said are relatives of Wilder's girlfriend. All 4 have been released on bond, making Garcia the only suspect currently behind bars. I checked court records into Garcia's background. He doesn't have any record of felonies before this incident. Garcia's next court appearance is scheduled for Monday, December 19th. It's unclear at this hour if the other suspects will be brought in following these new charges. We'll keep you updated on air and online as we learn more. Reporting in studio, I'm Michael Sandlin, WTOL 11.
To know that 2 people are deceased now and families are mourning and hurting, and that's terrible. So I'm terribly sad for the families, and it's just an unfortunate situation.
The fire chief, Allison Armstrong, holding a news conference this morning. She says crews were not able to access the basement of that burned down house at the time of the fire where those bodies were eventually found. She says around 25 firefighters responded on December 5th at 1 a.m. and searched just the 1st and 2nd floors. She says the building was deemed too unstable and risky for them to continue the search into the basement.
It sounds like it's cut and dry. Yes, we're going to go in and put the fire out, or no, we're going to stay out and fight it defensively. But there's a lot of things that go into that decision, and it's constantly evolving.
The house was reportedly vacant for 3 years. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but we do know the arson team was called out to investigate. Our team coverage continues as we learn more about the neighborhood where those bodies were found. Our Trent Croce talked to people who live nearby this burned down house. Trent, what are they saying about everything that's going on?
Melissa, the neighbors I spoke to earlier say that this incident is shocking. However, a couple of them did say that they're kind of used to it at this point as they notice a lot more crime in the area. And also, while I toured the neighborhood earlier speaking to neighbors, I spoke with a woman who lives on her own who told me she has been living in more fear now. Another man I spoke with also says he's been living just down the road for decades and says nothing like this has happened before. And a mom says she didn't know the 2 boys, but she did have kids that did know them. And everyone I spoke to says they weren't comfortable saying much more due to the fear of retaliation, but they had no clue at all the bodies were even there. Now tonight, the families of the 2 victims of Wilder and Pittman will be holding a vigil at the scene. I spoke with Wilder's aunt earlier today, and she says that he was a great, funny, and life of the party man. Reporting in downtown Toledo, Trent Croce, WTOL 11.
All right, Trent, thanks so much. We also found out today a shooting from overnight is connected to the teen's murder investigation. According to Toledo police, someone shot at a car outside of a home around 1:30 on Seaman Road in East Toledo. No one was hurt, but we have learned the home where this happened is where one of the suspects lives, connected to those murders. The investigation into the teen's deaths is a story we will continue to follow over the next days. To catch up on everything you may have missed, you can go to WTOL.com.